Alright, what is going on, guys? New Moon Rapture here. So we're going to get into Flat Earth a little bit. I have to talk about it every now and then because I got a lot of viewers now, and a lot of the videos and truth that I put out before, we got to get into it again. And Flat Earth is one of them. Flat Earth is a very prophetic piece to this puzzle, a bigger understanding of what God's doing here. It's very biblical. But first, I want to warn you about what Satan does in the Flat Earth movement. All these guys who are very popular in the Flat Earth movement are there to deceive you. They are going to try to deceive you. They're going to tell you the Flat Earth is true, but that Jesus is just the sun god. And it's the same thing as what Constantine did 2,000 years ago. Christianity, he brought paganism into Christianity. Paul knew the truth. And the Jews knew the truth at the time. But again, we have this infiltrators of the truth movements to lead you away from Jesus Christ and salvation through him. So just because they're flat earthers doesn't mean that they believe in the God of the Bible. And a lot of them don't. I'm not going to say most, I'm going to say a lot of them don't. And so this is what they do. They want to take over the movement and they mislead people. And you even have some of the very popular flat earthers today that reject Jesus Christ now are saying that it's a globe, right? And this is what they do. They're trying to confuse people. They're trying to mix people up. And that's what they do. So one of the flat earthers' name was Dearth. I think it's Dearth. I used to watch him. And again, you can learn a lot from these guys scientifically. They don't really go to the Bible that much. Sometimes they do. But scientifically, they show the truths about flat earth, how it all works. For the most part, not exactly. But for a lot of things, they do. So, if you have enough sense to just take the scientific truths that they show you and then reject their Antichrist agenda, I guess I could say that's kind of what I've done, because I used to watch them before I knew that they were Antichrist. And then I stopped watching them. But in the meantime, I did learn a lot from them scientifically. And so I don't watch them anymore. I don't need them anymore. All I use, in my mind, I only have a few verses that I really love in the Bible. I'm not worried about the science of it because it's very easy. I mean, I understand the science of it, but I guess I can go over some of it. But it's very simple to understand. Earth is stationary. It's not moving. It's a flat plane. There's a dome or a firmament over it, and we're all inside with the sun, the moon, and the stars. Everything's very close. I think the firmament's probably like 73 miles up. And that's interesting because God's number, one of his numbers that he loves to use, is 73. And 73 is the numerical value for the word wisdom in Hebrew. And God created everything through his wisdom. So it equals 73, and wisdom also equals 37 in another type of gematria. So 3773, I've done videos on that number. Prime numbers, only divisible by itself, like God. And the number 3 and the number 7, same deal. Prime numbers, only divisible by itself, like God. Number 3 is the number for divine order, like the Godhead. Number 7 is the number of completion, right? Some people will say number 7 is the number of God. Well, it's the number of divine completion. So yeah, first I want to warn you, man, there's so much deception out there that as soon as somebody rejects Jesus Christ, or you can see that they're not going to take you all the way, then you got to be careful. There's other channels, like this one channel I used to watch. His name is Jake and then it's a bad word. So it's A, and then the last word ends with whole. So I'm not going to say that whole word, but that's his channel name. And what does he do? Well, first of all, he cusses a lot in his videos, which is not good. But I cuss in real life sometimes, but I don't do it on videos. But he will talk about lots of truth, just like all the rest of these guys. But he does not lead people to Jesus Christ or salvation or the Bible. He touched on flat earth, sometimes that's where he started, I think. But again, what's the point of knowing flat earth if you don't take people all the way? The whole point of understanding flat earth is to see that there's a creator and that it's the God of the Bible, and then you get led to salvation through Jesus Christ. That's the whole point of it. And then, there's other points like how flat earth is part of the puzzle in the Bible. But again, he doesn't lead people to Christ. I don't have anything personal against him. But anybody that doesn't take you to Christ, you have to wonder, are they part of this Antichrist agenda on purpose, or are they just non-believers themselves? I don't know how you can come to flat earth and not believe in some type of God, right? So the Bible is inspired by God, Yahweh, and he writes about flat earth all through it. So yeah, so just watch out. Know that all bits of truth, like John MacArthur, he definitely is Antichrist. He's a minister of Satan. He tells people you could take the mark of the beast and still be saved. That's a lie. I don't think we're going to be here for that anyways, but still it's a lie. And that seed is out there to millions of people, and it's going to take effect anybody who is here for that. So we are in a world surrounded by Satan's ministers, and Satan's ministers are ministers of righteousness. That's what you have to understand. Satan's ministers are going to tell you a lot of truth, a whole bunch of truth, but they're going to slip in lies. It's like the flat earth Antichrist movement. Flat earth isn't Antichrist, but most of it is Antichrist people. And they're going to teach you a lot of truth, man. They'll show you, they'll convince you of flat earth, even without the Bible, just with science. But they won't lead you to salvation. And then what's the point? Nothing. Their point is to, do what they're doing. So one part of the puzzle to flat earth is not only understanding that there is a God and that it's the God of the Bible, is that flat earth, as I said in my live, I can't do lives and post them. It's not working. It's not posting. And I can't screen record them either. I tried it today. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But if somebody wants to record my lives for me, maybe shout it out. Give me a message, because I can't. But if you want to record my lives and then, I don't know, somehow give them to me or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so one significant piece to flat earth, this is a side view of something, of how it might be, right? Not exactly, but you have the dome or the firmament, then you have the sun and the moon inside, and you have the stars above. And then around the edge, you have the Antarctic ice wall. That's Job 26:10. It is this... it is what compasses the waters with bounds and holds the waters in, so it'd be all the way around. And then you have Earth, right? However Earth would look like, its valleys and peaks. And then right here you would have the water, something like that, right? And you have water right there. Woo, woo, woo. And that's very simplistic way of putting it. But what is it? What is the puzzle piece that it fits in the Bible? Well, it's a womb. It's like a woman's womb. It's a womb. And, the word womb means matrix. Can you believe that? They come up with these movies named The Matrix. Well, the movie is actually named The Womb. And they know the flat earth, and they know that it's a womb. And isn't it ironic that the reason that this is a puzzle piece and ironic is that we have to be what? We have to be born again. So it's all likened to childbirth, right? So in the womb, we have to be born again, right? And then what else references? Remember, Paul in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and Revelation chapter 12 talk about childbirth. The woman travailing in birth pains, waiting to be delivered, the man-child, us, the body of Christ, right? So likening it to all this to childbirth, birth pains, right? We all know about that in the Bible. And the body of Christ is the man-child, right? That is born, right? That the dragon is waiting to get, right? And so also we see two seeds. We see the story of seeds. We see physical, right? Jacob and Esau, right? Or Seth and Cain, which would have been Abel and Cain, but he murdered Abel. Cain murdered Abel, so you have Seth and Cain. You have the godly bloodline, which is Adam and then Seth, and those generations, and then you have the other seed bloodline, which is of Satan, Cain's bloodline. And if you look in the Bible, Cain is not included in Adam's bloodline. He's not, because Satan is his father. So even, if that is literal, which it very well could be, it would make sense because Cain is not included in the generations of Adam. And even the Bible says, I believe in 1 John or 2 John, that Cain was of the wicked one, right? And so a lot of people speculate that, well, since we know that the angels came down, mated with the women, and created giants, that was the case of Cain. Maybe, I don't know, I wasn't there, but I know he's not in Adam's bloodline. So you have two seeds, or in the womb, right? The righteous seed and the unrighteous seed in the physical, but then there's also the righteous seed and the unrighteous seed in the spiritual, right? Just like God created heaven and earth, it's the physical and the spiritual, right? Just like the first man is earthy, well, the second man, glorified, is heavenly like the Lord. That's in 1 Corinthians 15. And so the interesting thing is that the whole thing revolves around a woman and childbirth and growing as children and sons in where? The womb, right? Flat earth. It's a womb, right? And that's one of the puzzle pieces that is very cool to me. Because before, I was busy trying to convince people, show people flat earth. But then later on, making the connection as to what the other significance is to flat earth, and understanding that it's based off of, in the Bible, childbirth and seeds. Well, it makes perfect sense now that flat earth is a womb, which means matrix, and they made the movie The Matrix. We are in the matrix. We're in the womb, right? So that's why, like in Genesis 45, there's a great delivery, like a woman. She goes through the delivery process, right? Like with the baby. So that's a significant piece to the puzzle, understanding everything, right? Not just looking at flat earth saying, well, it's obvious that there's a God because this is where we're at, stationary earth. You have the land, and then you have the sun and the moon that are very small inside the dome, and you have the stars that are right above us inside the dome. Obviously, this is all done with intelligence, and there is a God. Okay, yeah, that's what I used to always show people, and why I used to show people. But it's more than that, because it fits with the Bible. Again, here's the thing to understand. All these flat earthers are not going to tell you this connection, that it is directly in line with the narrative of the Bible. Why? Because it's a womb, and the story in the Bible is always about two seeds in the womb, right? But again, they would probably want to stay away from making the major connections and how significant flat earth is because it's a womb, and connecting that with the Bible, because they're deceivers, they're antichrists. So they're going to tell you that Jesus is the Son God, and they're going to tell you, or they're not going to talk about Jesus in the right way. But that is the direct connection with flat earth and the Bible, right? Childbirth, seeds in the womb. That's the narrative throughout the whole Bible, right? It's the matrix, man. So this is one of my subjects that I woke up to a long time ago, probably 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. And I used to post about it all the time. And I think it's time now to post about it again. So people were probably wondering what verses they could look at. Well, I have my favorites. Job 38, verse 14. Says that earth takes its shape like clay unto a signet ring. So remember how they used to close the envelopes? They used to burn the clay, and they used to press it on, or put some clay on there, on the envelope in the olden days, and then press a stamp thing on it to shut it. Well, that's what that is. And when you press it, all around the circle, there's a crevice, an indent, like the Antarctic ice wall, to hold the waters in. And so that's what it is, a signet ring. Earth takes its shape like clay under a signet ring. So if you Google signet ring, a male signet ring is flat. And you just push it down, and that's what you have. Just like the old school clay stamp, how they used to close the envelopes. It's the same idea. So that's a flat earth verse that I always hang on to. One of my favorites is Psalms 19:6. Says that the sun does its circuits, which means circles, around from one end of the heaven. The firmament is called heaven in Isaiah 40:22. From one end of the heaven to the other, right? And it's like a man running a race. So clearly you have reference to the sun circling the earth from one end to the other end. And heaven has ends because it's referring to the firmament, the dome, right? And so clearly we have a reference in Psalms 19:6 that says that the sun goes from one end of the heaven to the other, and it circuits like a man running a race. It doesn't say the other thing, man. It doesn't say that the earth circles the sun. It says that the sun is circling the earth. It's going around top like that, right? Psalms 19:6, another one of my favorite verses. Genesis 1:14 says that the sun, the moon, and the stars are in the firmament. They're inside the dome, man. Sun, moon, and stars. I'll on this video, I'll post the stars. They're wheels within wheels, and you can see a little person inside the wheels. And they're all different colors. And I filmed it with the $900 camera, and they're right above us. They're a few miles above us. I don't know how many miles. Maybe 5, maybe 7, maybe 37, right? Because I believe the dome is 73 miles up. And so those are some of my favorite verses. And then, of course, Psalms 104, verse 5 talks about the earth being stationary. And I think there's also Psalms 91. I don't want to say the wrong verse. But if you just look up Google verses on fixed stationary earth, it'll come up with like 50 verses. Right? So the Bible is... Once you come to this, man, it's like you start seeing how big the deception is. Right? Because then you're like, oh, it's the schools that are teaching lies, right? It's not only the schools, but it's the Christian schools. It's the Christian religion that is not telling people the truth. All of this stuff. This is science, false science, science falsely so-called. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20 and 21. And we're warned about these things. So again, yeah, I just wanted to kind of warn you guys about what is going on with flat earth, you know, the Antichrist agenda to confuse people, and also show you how flat earth is directly connected with the Bible as far as showing this whole theme of childbirth and seeds in the womb. Because it is literally a womb, and the word womb means matrix. We're in the matrix.